Hello, welcome to TechWebDots. Today I am going to discuss FastAPI based on Python. We will discuss how we can set up the FastAPI in Visual Studio Code, and we will also see the hands-on practical example. Okay? And this session is part of Azure Functions with Python for Beginner series. So I strongly recommend you to watch the previous sessions, and the link is given in the description of this video. So before jump into the setup and the practical example of FastAPI, let's understand the key things about the FastAPI. So FastAPI is a framework which is highly performance, easy to learn, fast to code and ready for production. FastAPI is a modern web framework for building APIs on standard Python type hint, right? It means you can create enterprise grade APIs very easily with this fast API framework. It is actually fast with high performance on par with Node.js and Go. Means the performance that you got with Node.js or Go, it is similar that you will get with the Python framework. And thanks to Starlet and Pydantic. We will discuss about this a little bit later. One of the fastest Python framework available as of now. It is fast to code, fewer bugs, and intuitive. Means calculations are simple, syntax are easy to understand, and greater editor support. We have less time debugging, and it is easy, meaning it is designed to be easy to use and learn, and it is robust, get production ready code very easily with automatic interactive documentation. We will see this thing in our practical session, right? So it is fully compatible and based on the open standard for APIs. Let's say open API, previously known as Swagger. So if you are coming from the open API background, then you must be aware about the Swagger that provides us the interactive UI through which we can see all the routes of our API and how to use them. So Fast API stands on the shoulders of two giants. One is Starlet for the web part and the another one is Pydantic for the data part. And how to install, right, with the best practice. So very first thing, we need to create and activate a virtual environment and then install the Fast API, right? And the command for installing the Fast API is Fast API, and in square bracket we have to specify the standard version of it. We'll discuss more but after our hands-on example. Okay, so before jump into the Fast API, let me show you the official link of the Fast API where we can see all the information about its learning and everything. This is the URL you can write in your browser, fastapi.triangolo.com, right? And you will see all the features about FastAPI, its learning, reference, and about its release notes and everything, right? It contains so many information, who are the sponsors, the key feature, and so many things, right? What you can do, how you can install with or without interactive document, or the alternative of the Swagger, and so much information is available on this page. Okay, so let's go back to the now it's time to hands-on, right? So I will be using the Visual Studio Editor, and in the previous section I have already explained how to set up the Visual Studio with the Python and how you can create the environment. Okay, if you haven't watched that session, I strongly recommend you to watch that one and come here and start your this fast API setup. Okay, so let's go to Visual Studio. So this is my Visual Studio, and you can see there is only one readme file, right? A folder I have already created. So what I'm going to do now, right? So I will create one file very first time, main.py. This is my main Python file, right? But before that, right, as we know, we have to create the environment. So all the packages that I'm installing, that will be dedicated for this environment only. Okay, so I will use the tilde symbol, so my terminal will be activated immediately. Okay, so it is fetching on which path I am as of now in my VS Code, and we know what is the command for creating the virtual environment we discussed in the last session. The command is python hyphen m virtual environment and the name that we wanted to give. I'm giving FAPI virtual env. Okay, if I hit enter, so it will create my FastAPI virtual environment. Now see this pop-up link, it is saying we noticed a new environment has been created. Do you want to select it for the workspace folder? We will say yes. Okay, now it will take care of the internal settings, especially for this project. The next important thing, we have to activate this environment. So whatever installation I am going to do with this project, those all will be recorded. Okay, for activating I have to go to in this app API folder and scripts and activate it, hit enter, and see my fast API environment is activated. Now next I have to install the package from the PyPI, right? That is the host for all the packages for the Python. So the command I will use here is pip installed FastAPI standard and I hit enter. Okay, so what it will do, it will install the FastAPI standard version so that the program I am going to write, it will actually support able to run the FastAPI on my local machine. It can take few minutes, so let's wait for it. Now if you see our fast API is installed, let me use the clear command. Okay, now in the main.py we have to write a piece of code for our API. To save the time, I have already prepared this piece of code. This is the sample default one that you can easily get from anywhere, right? So what we are doing, we are using the typing package, right? And we are from the typing package we are importing the union part, okay, from the whole package. From the second, from the fast API we are importing the fast API class. Okay, here we are getting the app object of the fast API. Here we are using the @ symbol which is used to define the route dot get. It means we are specifying the get request here, and very first time on the root, right, if you specify, so we will see a message, hello, welcome to Python, let's say fast API world, right? And there's another route I'm creating /items /item ID, right? Def is just like our function, and in that what we are specifying here, we don't have any parameter, but here we are expecting a one item ID of integer type, one q which is of string type, right? And default we are specifying the none value, and in the return format what it will return, item ID colon the value we sent for the item ID, and q and the value of q that we sent. Okay, let me just save this, right? And now you must be thinking how to run this program. To run this program, I will simply type fast API environment, I am specifying dev and main.py, and if I hit enter, it will start building the component, and it will give me the URL on which I can access my fast API. Now here you can see, right, I can see the server start listening on this. Server started here, and the documentation of this API you can easily get on this. First, see the server started at the first URL, which is the port 8000, and the IP address is 127.0.0.1. If I click here, and I can see the response that we mentioned, hello, welcome to Python fast API world, right? And if we want to see this Swagger documentation that we call it interactive documentation, if I type here docs, okay, let's type properly docs, hit enter, so I will see the JSON documentation which is giving us the very friendly interface. If I click on get, right, if I click on try it out, execute, I will get what URL I am hitting. This is the URL, and what is the response? It is same as we have seen in the browser. You can also try the second get request that we have created. So if you want to try that one, So we have to provide the item ID. Let's say I'm giving 1001 and the query string I'm saying, let's say test, right? And if I hit execute, right? If I say, okay, so the response, what I can see, this is the actual URL build behind the scene on which we are hitting. The response code is 200, which is okay, right? And the item ID is 1001 and the Q value is test, right? This is how it was designed. Let's go back to, so we can just click on Control C for stopping the server. Now it is not listening at all, right? Now the next important thing, right, that we also wanted to discuss, now we installed some packages, right, and we haven't created any requirement.txt, which is very important. Now let's create the requirement.txt that actually should include the packages that I'm using to run this program. So let's run the command that will create our requirement.txt file with the packages that I am using. And the command will be pip freeze greater than symbol and requirements.txt. If I hit enter, see a file is created, which is very important. And if I click here, we see there is no package at all, right? But now it is quickly reloaded, right? So you can see it is showing so many internal dependencies, so many internal packages also included here, but it is coming as a standard version because we use the standard one. If you use the non-standard one, so these number of packages will be very small. But let's save it. So don't worry about any of these things, right? If I show you in my readme file, right, I have the important command, the freeze one, the installation one, environment one, okay, and the important URLs that we have discussed. So you will get the link of this repo in the description of this video. Okay, so I hope you like this video, and if you have any question, you can please let me know, and your feedback is very important for us. So that's the only inspiration for us to create such content for you. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. So we have seen, right, how FastAPI runs locally, right? But there are few important things that I also wanted to highlight, and it will not take much time, about the dependencies. The FastAPI depend on Pydantic and Starlet. But what it is? So when we do the standard installation, so with the standard version, the fast API, it comes with the standard group of optional dependencies that we have seen in the requirement.txt file, which is used by Pydantic, right? It contains the email validator, and it also contains the some packages which is used by Starlet, right? That contains the HTTPX required if you wanted to use the test client, Jinja 2, Python multipart, and there is one more component used by Python API or Starlet both. We are talking about the dependencies that comes with the standard version, which is UVCon, again important for the server that loads and serve your application. Very important, right? So UVCon is a server that loads and serve your application. This includes the UVCon standard, which includes some dependencies, for example UV needed for high performance serving, means you can run multiple instances of your application behind the scene to handle the load, okay. And the fast API CLI as well, to provide the fast API commands, because we use the standard one, so that's why we were able to run the fast API command. Okay, now if you don't install the standard one, right, so you can just simply do pip install fast API, right? So then those optional dependencies will not be downloaded, and you can also run even without that your fast API. But when we go for the standard one, definitely we are getting more features. So I hope you like this video. In our next section, I am going to show you how you can deploy this fast API, or how you can make this current piece of code ready for the Azure function so you can deploy directly. Till then, bye bye, take care.